So she got all those qualities that you mentioned, but the sex is horrible. Are you still staying?
No.
Okay.
I love sex, so there's no way I'm waiting.
Men actually want a girlfriend with the qualities to bring them some peace.
If you're bringing those couple of little things to the table, we can really have a conversation and see, what we can work out.
Modern dating is complicated, but honest conversations shouldn't be. Welcome to Beyond the Profile. Swipe less, connect more.
I mean, I haven't been in relationships. The woman made more money than me, or I made more money than her. I really don't care. As long as you give me that peace, that quality that I want, we're good. The only issue I had one time was, I worked during the day, she worked at night, pretty much, so I had an issue with that.
Okay.
But other than that, it was
time.
like, I need some time, but other than that, no problems.
Because what I'm hearing is not just the money. I'm hearing what goes with it, right? You were saying you're managing 400 people, or you have stress at your job and he has stress at his job, and you're coming home and he wants you to be his peace. Mm-hmm. And then you have to kind of walk that little tightrope to be able to, be that partner that they need, but you also have your own things that you have to internally do. And then also the decisions of the family, who's making the most money, where do you live, what do you buy, what do you spend? So I'm hearing that more than the money. I'm hearing more of what comes behind
exactly
the money.
Mm-hmm. But I think what we're really talking about is what men want. And I think, when you get a certain age, you want a very well-rounded person. And if that means that someone's going to go to work and come home and be your peace, it's all a part of the equation. So I just think initially we started out asking, what do men want? Is it important for women to make a certain amount or have a certain educational level or degrees? What we're hearing is no, but does it matter into the job that they do, what you come home to?
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, it's a very important topic. So to eliminate what someone does or their educational level, it goes into the makeup of that person. And it is absolutely important. It's these pieces of the puzzle, kind of like you said with, waiting, for sex till marriage. It's those things that we find out later, Right. It's when you want to take 3 vacations, but that person doesn't work. Now the finances come into play, I just think part of the issue with what men want and what women want, once they come together, they figure out it's not really the same,
right?
So whether it's attractiveness or waiting for sex till marriage or educational level or where they work, it's all part of the puzzle. And we have to start looking at that puzzle before just diving in.
Mm-hmm. In the very beginning. We don't have the hard conversations in the beginning.
No. Absolutely.
We wait until it's too late and it's blowing up. Mm-hmm. And you're 2 years in and you're like, wait, we don't agree on this. And then what do you do with that? Do you throw away 2 years or do you try to make it work?
Right.
So I tell everyone before the marriage, before moving in, before the commitment, please go to therapy. Have these big conversations. Where are you? Then we like to ignore the stuff too. So if we meet someone and things are great and they're like, oh, I want 6 kids. And you're like, oh, I only want 2. We don't stop there. We don't say, hey, wait, we don't match. We keep going thinking somebody's going to change their mind. Someone's going to compromise. And it doesn't happen. We have to have the big conversations in the beginning. Money, all of that.
And that was pointed out by the discussion that you two were having, because Kevin wants someone that's going to come home and be the peace and sort of come down from that supervising, 300 people. If someone has, that type of job, that could completely be a mismatch. You just said that women are out earning men, in certain demographics. So that's sort of already eliminating those women from even finding a mate just by the conversation that we just had.
Absolutely.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But part of the issue is we're not taking ourselves out the equation, though. When we know we've eliminated each other, we're still not leaving.
Still going.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's what we're doing.
I think people are afraid to be lonely.
I mean, that you hit the nail on the head. It's like, we're searching for something.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be by ourselves.
Yeah. And the world is lonely and sad. And there's like,
It's just lonely and sad.
It's lonely and sad out there. I get it.
I'm okay with the lonely. But you can't say it.
But I think making yourself try to fit with someone is just going to bring a lot more loneliness later down the line. So to everyone's point, you have to have those hard conversations up front. But I don't know, is there like a demure way to be like, so how many kids do you want? Like, do you have that conversation on the first date?
Yep, you do. You do.
Okay.
Because what are we doing
I
this
would be
for?
scared to do that, honestly. I feel like
I think the younger me would. This
Not-
new me,
yeah.
not so much.
Yeah.
I don't have 1 minute to waste. Okay,
There you go.
I
Yeah.
want to know those basic things you know?
Before you proceed. Before
Yeah,
you keep
absolutely.
going. Yeah. I think a lot of people are not doing that.
They're not. They're not.
asking those questions.
Well, I think a lot of people are kind of trying people on, maybe because they're sad and lonely,
Mhm.
right? So
And it's like, what the heck?
They-
Might as well try.
yeah, might as well try it. You have to have those key standards and those key values going into something so you'll know, okay, well, that's not exactly what I'm looking for.
And
eliminate it.
walk away.
Yes,
Yes.
when it's
I
not
think that's
worked out.
another
It is.
problem that I see too. It's like,
Mhm.
you're attractive, I'm attractive, we like each other, we like spending time with each other, but we don't want the same things.
Mm-mm.
And so we want to hold tight to that anyway, right? Instead of saying, you know what, before we get too deep,
Right.
let's agree to disagree or agree that, we're just not compatible.
And some of that can be the stigma of social media. It could just be a family. When you get to a certain age, people are asking you, well, why are you single? That's
Yeah.
a huge question
Yeah.
lately. Almost as if something is wrong with
Yes.
Yes.
So some people have these sort of fictitious relationships, knowing that it's not exactly
fictitious.
what they want.
Right.
But it makes them feel normal and it makes them feel like they belong. Like, how many Thanksgivings do you show up to and they say, you're not married yet?
All of them.
You didn't
All of
find
them.
any-
All of them.
you didn't find anyone yet?
Mhm.
And so that makes people want to get into these things that feel a little bit uncomfortable, but maybe it could work, but not really.
Yeah.
You know.
Then a lot of people don't know what they want. We know what we want in the big scheme of things. I want a
Right.
partner, but what does that look like? It's very hard for people to actually break down what that looks like to them. I want to be happy. I want my peace. I want my partner. I want a great sex life. Okay, identify exactly what that means. Because to me, a great sex life might be sex 7 days a week.
Right,
To you,
right.
it might be 2. To me, it might be swinging and all this other stuff. To you, it might just be plain old missionary twice a week. What does that look like? Your piece is different than my piece. Explain that. So we can come together and be like, oh, we're so on the same page with everything. We want our kids to go to private school. We want 3 kids. But you might want a Catholic school. Why I don't. You may want 3 boys. I want 3 girls. Like, we say the big things, but we don't start to break it down.
Oh.
I think you bring up a really good point. Because when I think about myself, if I looking at someone for marriage, we will be doing 6 to 9 months of premarital
There
counseling.
you go.
Without
Yes.
question.
Beautiful.
These days and times,
Yeah.
you can get a barber's license, you can get a license for a firearm. There's all kinds of training that's involved for these types of things. But a marriage license, there's no test, really. It might have used to been a blood test, but you can just go down to the courthouse, and that might be the most important decision you make in your entire life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't need any training for it whatsoever. And so I think in terms of our roles, we definitely need to make sure that we are meshed on so many different topics. You understand? Like you're saying, maybe we need to see a sex therapist and have those conversations, get those
'cause
questions
sex is
asked. Maybe we need to talk to a
everybody.
divorce attorney to let him know what these are the things that may be at risk as a result of you getting married. You need to know before you get on. There's all kinds of safety precautions you need to take for both sides. So many conversations that you have to have. So I definitely would agree with so much of what you're saying. in that regard. You need to take steps and have them come and be willing to walk away at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the other part.
That's the hard part is that you may have to say, hey, there's nobody's fault,
Yeah.
but we both have
We're
to let
not
it go.
compatible.
Right.
And
And that's
people
okay.
don't want to hear
That's
that.
okay.
Yeah.
I have a question for Kevin. So if maybe licensures or certain things are needed to get the marriage certificate, what do you think about renewals? Like a driver's license expires. Do you think that these marriage licenses should expire and then you go back?
Yeah.
Well, you know that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think that's a good one. I even more than that, I would say that if in a divorce scenario, if that had to happen, that you split the children 50-50.
You split the
You split their time. Right?
Okay.
Not literally with the
You
hacksaw.
can
Right? But, as far as the time that you get to spend,
Like
no one gets child support, and that's the default ruling, and then you both start from there, If you take and put that on the table, okay, I think, we really can say, okay, we can do a 5-year check-in, 10-year check-in, but if things aren't working, you can both walk away, no harm, no foul. But in terms of the children, this is how it'll happen. And so, if you put those two together, I think we got something.
Because isn't it ironic that you have to take a test to drive, you have to wear a seatbelt to not break laws, you have to get a license to be a sex therapist, you have to you have to have degrees to get the job. It's like there are all these requirements to do the things that we do, but yet for love, and I get it, because when you're in love, you just want to go to the courthouse and you're just like, yes, I met my man and we're going to get married. And it's just easy, right? But I also thinking like you thought about, like, should there be renewals? You renew your license every so many years, So should it be that?
Yeah. Well, I will say the fastest you can get into it, you can also get out of it. I think it was. Yeah, well, I think in 2017, Maryland particularly passed a law where if both parties consented to the divorce, they can just be divorced that day. There was a time where you had to be separated for 1 year and no sexual contact. And, some states are 2 years.
As long as children aren't involved, because you have to do the child support and the custody. But as long as children are involved, you absolutely can.
And they agree. The sooner you sign and get into it, you can sign and now you can get out of it.
But we just said the stipulation is if you have children,
right?
Then we're talking property, we're talking time, we're talking child support, so then that's when it gets
complicated.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think I love the idea of renewals, because if you're not the same person you were at 20 that you're at 30.
Right.
You're not the same person at 30 that you are at 50.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a fault. It's I've changed. I've evolved. Our environments are different. Our life experiences are different. Yeah. A lot of the divorced couples that I see, there's no cheating issue. It's a I've changed issue. Before I was in survival mode and I was a penny pincher and I didn't want to spend money on this. But now I realize, hey, I can live my life and I'm spending money like water. And my partner's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong. Just change. No.
So I'm from Texas, and I think a lot of my friends, my circle, got married young, and now they're all divorced. I think marriage is such a important role, to Kevin's point. It helps with your finances, with your job, with your offspring. Like, there's so many important decisions that come out of it. And quite frankly, people get married on a whim, like, quite often, I think. Culturally, my family is pretty concerned about me being unmarried without children. They bring it up every family get together. But I am very intentional about how I move, and I have my degrees and I have my jobs, and I've put myself first, because I think the women before me had to really suffer and endure. And they put us first, the kids. So as the daughter of an immigrant, I take that privilege, and I've been able to invest in me, go to therapy, which again, like, very kind of not condoned upon in the Latino community. So yeah, I think all of that to say is, I think people have gotten married too young and they change. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I feel bad because divorces usually get messy. I feel bad for both parties, because it's not like they went into the marriage thinking that they would change. But I'm a completely different person than I was at 22.
I'll just add something real quick to that. I think it's real interesting that the young couples, because I've seen that in, like, my circles and things like that too, is nerves of young people getting married today and then later on getting a divorce. And it does happen a lot. for someone who's actually, experienced some of those things myself, I think when you think of marriage, it's really kind of an old school traditional institution, right?
It is.
But we're in like this modern society, and so many things have changed, especially, with regards to women's roles and what's expected, of them from society.
Mm-hmm.
But, what's expected from men in terms of what they need to bring to the tables, the tangibles, as well as the leadership qualities and everything that you look for in a man that you admire, love, and respect, those types of things are relatively stable and relatively steady. And when a man is young, he hasn't really come into his full capacity yet. He really, there's that whole thing about men maturing, slower than women. I got whole thoughts on that, but we don't have to get into it.
Age that men are mature at, isn't it like 50?
But
wow,
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
But you're talking about reaching that full potential and really, kind of realizing everything that he's capable of doing and being able to provide and being able to support and direct and all those qualities that you would look for. When you really start hitting that stride and you're, middle age, that's a long time for a man to really kind of build up to that. But when you get to your peak, you're ready now. You're ready to take on all that responsibility and more. But, when it comes to some of the young couples, I don't know if men really know how to really lead, guide, and direct his family. Yeah, and he really hasn't come into his full, his full capability at such a young point. And so I think that would kind of go back to, how we would kind of train folks coming up. We used to have that tradition for a reason in that, maybe you had a mom and a dad at home and they would model certain behavior for you. So you have some idea of what to expect.
Right.
Whether you want to do something a little different is up to you. But when you're coming up, you have something to kind of model after.
Yeah.
Things are so, they've changed a lot now. And so you don't really have the same kind of models. Sometimes there's step parents in the home. There's different dynamics going on. And so, you don't have the same kind of traditional model, but yet we still expect young men to be those same kind of leaders and know what to do when they're 20 and 21.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about a model, and I agree with you. It's like the home got to be the foundation. If the foundation's not there, then you don't know how to do it, But I don't think age would play a factor, especially when a man know what he want. If I know, if I see you, I want you. That's simple.
He said it's as plain and simple.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to lead it too. If you're not financially there, then you're not there.
I love this conversation because I actually didn't have I had some questions, but I really wanted to get everyone's perspective and also allow the men to say what it is that they really, really want. Because I think sometimes we all have perceptions of what we think it is, just like you said, social media and dating apps and so forth. And in this mind of it's framed a certain way, and so we tend to lean that way when reality is not really that way. So when we were talking about doing this topic, I really wanted to know because I hear so many things, oh, she's got to be this and she's got to be that. But I do agree with all of you about the modernness of dating now, which is, I feel like, a conflict to what we were raised. It's kind of like there's not any intertwining too much anymore. So, but I love that point. Really do. So, with that being said, do the men have anything else that they really, really want?
Not me.
In their relationship, to get serious about a woman?
No, I kind of led with my thoughts as far as what I would be looking for from a future Mrs. Watts perspective.
So I'm going to throw a little bomb at you. So she got all those qualities that you mentioned, but the sex is horrible. Are you still staying?
No.
I had to hold that question. He said, no. So that's period. No. We don't even have to.
Well, because sex is really an expression of our chemistry as far as what we share. Normally that will transfer into the bedroom. And so, you guys. Usually that's not going to be a big issue.
And you're not willing to coach or
Well, it means that there's a disconnect.
Okay.
If you're just saying that it's just whack and that's
It's
it
whack.
in the story,
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, we're going to have to figure that out before we can go to the altar.
I know you got something to say.
I do. So I agree with you 100%. Like all qualities, and if the sex is bad, it's going to lead to cheating, resentment, all of that. So, but I think when it comes to bad sex, and please excuse my soapbox that I'm about to go on, but when it comes to bad sex, it's not always about chemistry. So a lot of people don't realize there are sex languages. So you guys all date. We always talk about love languages, right?
Yes.
Everyone's like, what's your love language? But there are sex languages. We don't talk about sex languages.
I didn't know there were.
Exactly.
Okay, well, school us.
Okay, so we have sex languages. We have fun. We have desire. We have patience. We have affirmations. Like, so what it is again, it's not that most of the time, it's not that sex is bad. We're speaking different languages. If you're a fun sex, meaning strip poker or betting, and you're with someone who is patience, meaning massages, slow motion, the sex is going to be bad or not connection because you're not speaking the same language. They're waiting for the slow burn and you're jumping. You're like, let's go. So it's not that there isn't a connection. You're speaking two different languages.
I never knew that.
Yes, I know. I can go into all this. I can get my props out. But
Yes.
because that's one of the first things when couples tell me, like, the sex is bad, we don't have a connection. I said, or are you speaking two different sex languages? So I do think there is a tiny bit of coaching and teaching. But I know all of us at our big ages, like, I ain't teaching nobody how to do anything. And I agree with that. Like, I don't want to teach, but I do want to say, I think we're speaking different languages. Like our sex, we're not connecting because you're expecting something from me that is not me. So when someone says, like, oh, every time I try to get in the shower with you, you don't want me in the shower with you, that's not my sex language. My sex language is something different. So of course we're not going to connect. We're not going to be there physically because I don't want this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the thoughts that I had was we talked a little bit about traditional values in modern day and how they conflict. And so, many moons ago, people didn't have sex until marriage.
Yeah.
And now people are experiencing so many partners before they say I do. Even the partner, we all admit it, we wouldn't do that unless we test it out. So I'm just wondering if people are having sex with too many people to have all of these comparisons to even say that something is bad.
That's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things we have to stay away from with sex and relationship is comparison. Like we can't say, oh, he did this better or she would always. We can't do that, like, at all. It's in anything comparison, unless we're talking about like Coke and Pepsi. Right. But sex is horrible because like you said, part of sex is connection.
Right.
You can't compare a connection in that sense, right? So we have to ask ourselves, like, what am I looking for from you specifically?
Right.
What works for us? Because fun sex might have been great with Joe, but with Bob, I need the sensual. So the comparisons are very hard because it depends on that person.
Right.
We're working with live, real people. So comparisons are very hard because that person is nowhere near the other person. And we're talking everything from size to wetness to are you boobs, butt, to whatever it may be. So comparisons are very, very hard. I think you have to go in with, what do I want from you? My expectation from you. What feels good for us.
Renzo, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
All is good. I'm good.
Yeah, he said all is good.
All is good. I'm down. But I believe that too. But you gotta learn each other.
Yeah.
Like if you like a certain thing, don't be quiet about it.
Yeah.
Say it. If I like a certain thing, watch out. Go over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But just say it. Because the same way you want to communicate outside the bedroom, you gotta communicate inside the bedroom.
Absolutely.
So you learn me, I learn you, we learn us.
Okay.
Just one last little thing.
Yes.
And that's just that you might not like this, but I personally think that women in general are a little harder to please sexually than men
Oh,
are.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay, yeah.
just as a general rule, men are already turned on by you just by your appearance.
Yeah, visual.
That's almost foreplay for most guys.
Mhm.
And so all you need to do is just show up. And we're halfway there as far as being happy in the bedroom. I'm just
We're
saying.
halfway there, baby.
You know, but you guys are a little bit more complex. It takes a little more time, and there's little nuances
absolutely. Yes.
that we got to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? To keep everybody, smiling and happy.
Mhm.
And so, I just think that when I say that, that connection is as far as going to the bedroom, generally it's not going to be from this side of the house. If there's any discontent, it's going to usually have to be the woman just in general because, it takes more to get your motor going. It takes, more mental stimulation. And in order to have that kind of those conversations, those relationships, that connection that really will stimulate you, most of it's going to take place outside of the bedroom to kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, but the question was, would you be with someone that has bad sex? And
Yeah.
with you just explaining to us
Mhm.
that we're complex and it takes us a while.
That's exactly what I'm saying is that if I'm saying that the sex is not good, it's what I'm saying.
Everything.
Yeah, because it's not like I'm expecting so much. You know what I'm saying? To me, it would almost be appropriate to ask the ladies that. First and foremost, when it comes to is that a deal breaker?
But I'm gonna let the ladies answer.
So first, can I just say,
yes,
biologically, I'm so glad you brought that up because biologically, we are absolutely more difficult to please.
Yes.
So this is why foreplay is so important for women because it takes a woman's body on average 10 to 12 minutes to warm up biologically, like physically, like the wetness, the yearning for sex, where it takes men 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already looking at a time difference. So when a lot of women talk about foreplay, we're literally saying our body isn't ready yet. So when you're jumping in, we're like the Sahara Desert over here, and you're thinking like it's time to go. So it already makes it worse for us. Women also have, our vagina contains 12,000 nerves compared to a man's penis that has 4,000 to 8,000 nerves.
Mm.
So you do got to work a little bit harder to make sure we're hitting all them nerves. So I'm so glad you said that because a lot of people don't realize that it is harder, but it's because of biological. It's a biological thing. Like our bodies are just different and that's what we're working with. So I'm so glad you pointed that because so many people don't understand that and they're like, I don't want foreplay. It's actually needed. We gotta have it. But like you said, more men respond to more foreplay of the anticipation, where women respond to more foreplay of the physical touch. Mm-hmm. So like you said, you in a car already warmed up, ready, because
your mind,
mind has already got you there, where the woman is actually waiting to be touched. So there is a difference there. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, and I don't want to keep talking, but to answer your question, more women do stay for bad sex. Only 85% of women orgasm vaginally, meaning there has to be some type of clitoral stimulation, which a lot of men don't provide. So 85% of women are not orgasming during sex, majority of the time. So women absolutely stay for bad sex.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it bad because you didn't?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, would you?
Sorry, that's a personal answer.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not. Sometimes I teach people enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Because it's not always about the ending. It's not always about the orgasm. But most of the time, what we're seeing is if the journey isn't good, there's not going to be an orgasm. So we're not enjoying any of it. But can you enjoy sex without an orgasm? Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Wholeheartedly. Do we want to all the time? No.
85%.
85%.
Well, this is great, guys. I'm going to wrap up, but I've learned a lot in this whole episode. And I hope that our viewers will as well. Stick around. I'm going to do a recap of what I learned and what I understand and how we can show up in dating. Hi, I'm Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile, Swipe Less, Connect More. Today, on our first episode, we talked about what men wanted or really want when it comes to commitment. We learned today that men want 3 things, what Lorenzo said. He said men want playtime, peace, and pancakes. Very simple creatures. And that was unique because we hear that all the time. Men always say we're very simple creatures, and we tend to not understand that. So this is our episode of Understanding Men, What Women Need to Know, but seldomly explained. And maybe it was explained, or maybe it has been explained, but we're not listening. So today was very enlightening to hear, hey, men just want simple things. So thank you for joining us on this episode. This is part of our 4-part playlist, Understanding Men, What Women Need to Know, but Seldom Explained. Thank you for watching. Tonya Buford with Beyond the Profile.